Curtiss-Wright, show her might to our axis hold as we back up our battle side. We will work every day and for fun we pay till the threat to our country die. Over land, over sea, till we win victory. Curtiss flames will rise and rise and rise. Thousand strong, sing this song, shout it loud and long. We will back up our battle cry.
Welcome to Curtiss-Wright.
You like the work. It's pleasant work. Glad you're here.
It's a big job and we need help. This is an army we can all get in.
You can help build the planes we need.
We're depending on you. You can depend on us.
Maybe you have a boy in the service like I have. You're welcome here. I'm Sam Madison. I've been with the company for more than 15 years, so I ought to know. My first job was chasing stock, but the job you start with doesn't matter much. It's what you do after you start. Maybe I can tell you some of the things you want to know that'll help you get off on the right foot, the way you want to get started. And maybe some of these other people that I want you to meet can help you some. Let them introduce themselves.
I'm Jim Madison. Dad's right. We're all interested in getting you started right on your new job. Now, for 11 years, I've worked in final assembly, and I've seen some mighty fine airplanes roll off the lines. You know, we're proud of the airplanes we build, just as you'll be proud of them. And the boys who fly and fight in them trust us to build them right. Now, we're all expected to put in a full working day each time we punch in. But there's a lot more than that to our jobs. We've got the responsibility of building quality into every job we do.
I'm Steve Ward, an Army combat pilot. And don't ever let anyone tell you the planes you're turning out can't fight with the best of them. I know. And in a few weeks, I'll be back flying them again.
My gosh, what a day. I'm what's left of little Madge Morrison. Look at me. One day of helping to win the war and I'm practically dead. All I hope is that you have a better first day than I've had. I'm Ann Madison. Don't let Marge discourage you. Marge is my cousin who lives with us. Something's always happening to her. I remember the day we started cooking school together. Marge burned her eyebrows off lighting the oven, melted the bottom out of the tea kettle, and dropped a piece of lemon meringue pie in the instructor's hair. But within a week or two, she was the best cook in the class. She'll do all right in the plant.
We all certainly hope you like your work. You'll find yourself working right alongside the same kind of people you've always known, the kind that lives next door or just across the street. Of course, the kind of work you'll have to do may be different from anything you've ever done before, but just remember it was once a new kind of job for all of us working in the plants. We all had our first day in the plant, and for many of us, that first day was not so long ago. We've grown mighty fast. Some of the men in charge of departments haven't been with the company long. They'll appreciate your cooperation, for you can be sure they'll remember how they had to work themselves up from their first day jobs. Of course, everyone starting in on a new job has problems to be worked out. There's a problem of getting to and from work. That's not easy these days. Take my daughter Ann, for instance. There's Ann now, putting on her jacket. She rides to work with a driver who furnishes transportation for 3 others beside her. I work too much overtime for her to depend on me to get her home. The transportation office will arrange rides for you, or if you own a car, help you get riders. Ads in the Curtiss-Wright help in some of the plants. Take Tony there. The company helped him get a place to live. Al, the driver, gets his necessary gas coupons through the transportation office at the plant, and without any delays. Sharing the ride conserves a lot of gas, tires, and automobiles. Parking lots are mighty busy places around shift changes. Looking for someone's like hunting for a needle in a haystack. That is, unless it's someone you know mighty well.
Ann! Ann Madison, wait!
Steve! Steve!
And, Roger.
When did you get home, Steve? Why didn't you let me know?
Oh, now wait, one at a time. I got in at noon. Your company's telephone operator said no personal telephone calls except emergencies. Besides, I bet your mother I could spot you coming out the gate.
But if I'd known you were coming,
Now listen, production soldier. We've both got our jobs to do. No laying off work because I'm home. We'll have time to be together. Sit under the wheel and drive.
All right. But why?
Safety first and always. I know I can't watch traffic and look at you too.
Roger. Hey, Steve!
Hi, Sailor.
Come on, Steve! Oh, Mother, isn't it wonderful Steve being home? Well, get out. You're going to stay for supper, aren't you?
Can't.
No, Ann, Steve's mother feel terrible if he wasn't home for supper.
I had strict orders to come right home and I'm late now. But, I'll be off duty, say, around 7:30. Any suggestions?
You can take me home when you get back, if you want to.
I usually take him home around that time. You'll hurry back, won't you?
Don't worry.
Thanks, pal. I'll do the same for you any day.
Hi, Marge.
Hi, Steve. Why, Marge, what in the world happened to you? Say, did you see Steve? He's home on 2 weeks' leave. I not only saw Steve, I saw stars. My feet, they're killing me. After standing up all day, then I had to walk halfway home. Well, you would wear those silly sandals. What happened to your driver? Ask him. How do I know? After work, I went in to clean up. How did I know I was supposed to rub on powder with one hand and lipstick with the other as I ran past the mirror? Then I had some books and things I forgot to leave downtown this morning. The gate guard couldn't let me out with the package because I didn't have a pass for it. By the time I did get to the parking lot, the car I was supposed to ride in was gone. So I had to walk and hitchhike. We'll arrange to share the same car as soon as possible. But you can't expect to keep 4 other people waiting for you. Hot shower will fix you up. You better hurry, though. Steve's coming over after supper. Well, for once, I'm glad he's not bringing along a friend. As far as I'm concerned, I'd be better off if they'd never invented airplanes.
But airplanes were invented. It took a long time and many heartbreaking failures. But on December 17th, 1903, Orville Wright made the first flight off the sands of Kitty Hawk in an airplane which the Wright brothers had built, engine and all. I suppose we could say that was the beginning of aviation under Curtiss-Wright pioneering. For at the same time that the Wright brothers were making their first flights, Glenn Curtiss became associated with the Aerial Experiment Association, which included such men as Alexander Graham Bell, the inventor of the telephone. This group designed and built the Red Wing, which took the air off the ice of Lake Keuka. Curtiss designed and built the engine used in the Red Wing, and from that time on, more and more of his time was devoted to building and flying airplanes. He won the Aero Club of America prize, piloting the White Wing. This won him pilot's license number 1. In 1910, Curtiss won the New York World Prize for the first one-stop flight from Albany to New York in the famous Albany Flyer. Other Curtiss-built airplanes began making new records soon after that. Eugene B. Ely flew a Curtiss-built plane from North Island, San Diego, and landed it on the flagship USS Pennsylvania. A few months later, after he had demonstrated an airplane that could land on the water and take off from the water, the United States Navy officially adopted aviation. Long before America entered the First World War, Curtiss was building flying boats for the Allies on such a large scale that when we did get in, Curtiss was able to go into mass production for both the Army and Navy. In 1917 and 1918, practically the entire United States Air Force was trained to fly in the famous Curtiss Jennies. In addition, Navy H and F flying boats were produced in large quantities. I went to work for the company about the middle 20s, just before Curtiss merged with Wright and other companies to become Curtiss-Wright.
I suppose you must have seen about all there is to see around the plants.
In the airplane division plants, yes. But including the engine division and the propeller division, there are 28 plants in operation now. In addition to the planes we build ourselves, we supply engines and propellers for many other planes. I'm mighty proud of our company's war record.
You have a right to be. Battle tests have proved that American planes are as good or better than anything we've had to fight. In Europe, Africa, China, Burma, Hawaii, the Philippines, and in the South Pacific. On every front, our fighters are about 10 to 1 better than anything we've run up against. And I know some Navy flyers who say that your Navy plane is the toughest, fastest, and sweetest dive bomber they ever flew.
Were any of our big cargo planes in service out where you were? They fascinate me.
I flew halfway home in one.
I'd like that.
That must be the boys. Got a bowling match on tonight. Come out and meet them, Steve.
Sure.
They're from the plant.
Now, don't get too worn out, Sam. And bring the boys in with you when you come home. I'll have some sandwiches ready.
I don't know how she does it, Steve. Takes care of little Jimmy after Mother goes to work. Till Big Jim gets home. Keeps this big house running like clockwork. You know, Steve, if there were more homes like Mother's, there'd be fewer children on the street and fewer grown-ups hanging around places where they're apt to get in trouble.
Oh, applesauce. Just come home early and don't you get into trouble.
All right. Come on, Steve.
Anne, you better go upstairs and see about little Jimmy.
All right, Mom. Jimmy, what's wrong with your finger?
Oh, I was winding it up, and I felt down here to see if it was tight, and this wheel started. See, it don't hurt.
Here, let's see it. My finger didn't hurt either when I scratched it at the plant this afternoon, but I had it bandaged just like I'm going to fix for you.
Did a real doctor bandage it?
No, a nurse did. But the doctor was there taking care of people who were really sick. People who cut their fingers, or drop things on their toes and get things in their eyes, must all go right to the plant hospital. For if they neglected them, little injuries might get infected, and people would have to stay home and lose work. There are big x-ray machines to tell if you have any broken bones. And there are beds and nurses for people who have to lie down. And some plants have first aid rooms right out in the plant.
Did you go to the first aid room?
No, I went all the way through the plant to the plant hospital. I worked down at one end of the plant with some other girls. What we do is put little pieces together just to make one part of an airplane. Dozens and dozens of other people make and assemble other parts. And then finally, the airplane starts to grow and really look like an airplane. It gets engines, and then wings. The instruments are put in it, and all the hundreds of wires and controls are connected. And then there it is, all finished. And so's your bandage. Let's get your hat and coat and take Marge downtown shopping and take you home.
Hey, it's your bedtime, Shaver.
Oh, do I have to go to bed now?
Yes, take him upstairs and get him into bed. March, sailor. Then I'll come up and read you a bedtime story.
Night, Steve.
Night, sailor. He's a great kid.
Yeah. He's crazy about mechanical toys and airplanes. Say, how about our planes, Steve? You've flown them in battle. How do they stack up?
Out in the field, all we have to say is give us more.
Well, I can tell you we've tried to build them right. We try to get out just as many as we can, but first we make darn sure that every plane we turn out is honestly built, just like it's supposed to be. We consider faulty workmanship as just as dangerous to you fellas who fly them as enemy bullets. Now, if every person working in the plant would be his or her own careful inspector of even the smallest jobs done, it would mean eliminating slowdowns later on. Say when a faulty part is found during later stages of assembly. Now, if a mistake is made, if it's reported right away, a lot of time can be saved, and it could mean saving a pilot's life. Of course, careless handling can waste a lot of parts and time, and sometimes it's plenty tough to get parts, especially when there's a change or modification in design.
I guess we're responsible for some of the changes made in design.
Certainly, and why not? You fly them under battle conditions. Steve, only from pilots' reports can we be certain that our designs are staying that necessary step ahead of the enemy. Then if we incorporate your suggested refinements on the assembly line before you get them, you'll have the planes you want. You know, quality and safe operation go hand in hand in the operation of combat equipment. If a plane isn't good, or if a pilot's careless, maybe he doesn't come back. And both are equally important in the plant, too, if the job's to be done right. It begins with a careful, safe setup of the job to be done. Anyone careless of his own safety will be careless of the safety of others depending on him. Fancy clothes and high heels, long loose hair, and dangling jewelry have no place in the plant. Sensible and safe costumes are inexpensive and neat and comfortable. Now, many machines have safety attachments, and many types of jobs require safety goggles and safety shoes. Our safety program lays emphasis on good housekeeping, having everything in its proper place and not laying around on the floor where someone might trip over it. Many jobs have special safety rules which have to be followed carefully. Materials can't be wasted, and neither can eyes and fingers and toes. We really make our own safety rules because, after all, we're just protecting ourselves. Well, I better go up and read to Jimmy. You kids probably have plans for the evening.
We're taking in a movie and then meeting Marge.
That's swell. We'll get together again while you're home.
Now that I've bought safety shoes and shop clothes and had my hair done up so that it will fit under a cap, I feel that I've practically given up everything, except lipstick and powder. Honest now, Marge, don't you like your job? Oh, the job's all right. The woman I work with gave me a lecture about wandering around the plant without an interdepartmental pass. Oh my gosh! What's the matter? I've forgotten locked up that darn company rivet gun, the one I was to leave out for the next shift. Do you think I ought to telephone? Well, it's too late now. The shift's half over. You better remember next time.
I hear Marge started to work today.
Yes. You know, I feel a little sorry for her. I wish we could have told her some of the things to expect, things that we take for granted nowadays. Tim, as a timekeeper, what tips have you to give newcomers?
Well, paperwork is an important part of any job in the plant. It starts with clock cards and punching in and out. Of course, it's important to know the exact location of your clock card and to be certain to punch in and out when you're supposed to. Absence reports have to be made promptly. There's a definite procedure to be followed for anyone absent from work, and newcomers must realize the importance of this. Overtime passes have to be gotten when there's overtime work to be done. Keeping job cards neatly and accurately is of extreme importance. Job cards must be made out for every bit of work done. When the magnitude of figuring out hours worked and pay rate of everyone in the plant is considered, it's easy to understand why paychecks can't be issued for the current week worked. Credit unions offer a fine opportunity to save money and to borrow money for emergencies. That's in addition, of course, to war bond savings.
And speaking of war bonds, I suppose there are only a few people that realize that many millions of dollars worth of war bonds have been bought by the men and women of the airplane division plants.
And that's a record we can all be proud of.
Mike, as a member of the Plant Protection Organization, what advice have you for newcomers?
People who have never worked in war plants
may find some of the regulations a little hard to get used to.
Take badges, for instance. Badges must be worn in the correct position. In a big, busy war plant, people can't go wandering out of their own departments without a pass. There are areas where smoking is permitted. And there are other places where no smoking rules must be strictly observed. We're doing a work that can't be talked about too much on the outside. Keeping our mouths shut is a part of our job. That's one of the reasons the government has ruled all visitors out of the plants except on business. And we've got too big a job to finish to waste any time or take a chance on damaging material by horseplay and practical jokes.
That's right. Everyone working here has a job to do, a full shift job, and there's no time for loafing on it. Speaking of observing our country's laws, you didn't mention, Mike, that there's a federal law against punching in or out any time card belonging to someone else.
That's right, and the government enforces it too. Newcomers should remember that it's the job of the Plant Protection Organization to investigate anything that looks suspicious. So, tell your foreman, don't play detective.
Okay, Mike. Perry, as personnel counselor, you ought to have more to tell new people than anyone else.
I have. We're in the plant to answer questions and to help solve personal and work problems. If the new people would only study the instruction book, which they get when they start to work, a lot of confusion would be avoided. The company certainly tries to make this a good place to work. The modern cafeterias offer fine, wholesome food and are operated on a non-profit basis. Provision is made for people who want to bring their own lunches. The personnel counselors will be glad to give newcomers information on child care centers. Children can't be neglected while their parents work. Counselor booths are conveniently located, and the counselors are there to be of service. Advancement through personal initiative is encouraged. The counselors know of training schools and classes outside the plant, as well as training programs within the plant. In these classes, competent instructors use models and actual parts to demonstrate job training. The bulletin boards in the plant should be watched for notices concerning plant policies and for announcement of recreational activities planned by the recreational director and covering a wide range of activities. The Curtiss-Writer provides a weekly summary of plant news as well as announcements of important production operations. Usable suggestions are welcomed by the suggestion committees, but newcomers should be cautioned against flooding the boxes with hasty, impractical ideas. Read the company publications and get acquainted with all these opportunities.
And by all means, read the Curtiss Flyleaf. You know, I'm saving mine. After this war's over, it'll be nice to thumb through and bring up old memories.
Uh-oh, come on, you guys. Let's get out of here before we get pitched up.
And the Mars just came in.
Did they?
Thanks, Miss Madison, for the feed.
Next week I'll bake a cake for you.
Maybe chocolate, huh?
Oh, my favorite. Sam would stay here talking all night if I didn't watch him.
Well, thanks for a nice evening, folks.
Good night, boys.
Good night, boys.
Good night.
Marge, wake up. Get up and get ready for work. Marge.
Very sleep.
I'll do nothing of the sort.
Oh!
Wake up.
I don't feel well.
What's the matter with you?
My head hurts, back hurts, and my feet hurt. I hurt all over. Call them up and say I'm sick.
So you turned out to be just a quitter.
Who said I was?
You who used to dance all night and then be the first out of bed the next morning ready for a picnic. When it comes to something worthwhile.
I know, out in the foxholes and on the deserts. Bang, 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 bang. They don't even get any sleep. All I did yesterday was get in people's way.
Well, at least you learned enough to keep out of people's way today.
Gosh, do I have to do this day in and day out no matter how I feel?
Oh, go on back to sleep. I'm ashamed of you. I'll call up the plant and tell them you only want to work when you feel like it.
Honest, every bone in my body aches. If I wasn't so darn hungry, I think I would stay in bed. How much time have I got before my driver gets here?
30 minutes.
Gosh! Why didn't you say so?
So another new day. A new day for Steve and Ann, for Marge and little Jimmy. A new day for you, for all of us. Who knows what the days to come will bring? Strange dreams are being woven into the fabric of the future in the great air research laboratories. Plastics and veneers and alloys unthought of now will come out of the pots and ladles of the future. Temperatures and atmospheres that now chain us to within a few thousand feet of the Earth are being tamed in man-made vacuum chambers. Wind tunnels where winds of hurricane strength can be created by the closing of a switch will prove the strange new airplanes that are bound to come. But we're still just pioneers, even if we have come a long way from Kitty Hawk and Hammondsport. I'm proud to be a member of this great company. Why, miracles will be happening around you every day. That's a promise. A promise to some boy in China or Africa, Australia or in Europe. On such and such a day, at such and such an hour, this plane will leave the plant. We'll fly to battle. That's a promise you're making. You on the sub-assemblies, subcontractors miles away. You on the assembly lines and in the offices. Look at it now. Watch it grow. Each one of you is giving it something. Each one doing just a little job on the biggest job in all history. You're a part of this. Teamwork makes miracles like this possible. On the day, on the hour, your promise is made good. Here it is. The plane we built and launched into the sky. It's got a job to do. It's our job to build it so that it's worthy of its place in the sky. A part of that great fleet that carries our nation's banner into battle, into our battle skies, fighting our fight. That's my job, backing up our battle skies, and that's yours. Welcome to your important part of it.